What's left of Hurricane Isaias has now moved well off towards the north, but it's certainly an impactful storm with the flooding aspect, the very strong wind aspect from a true Category 1 hurricane, tossing sheds, burying cars in sand a little bit, causing some fires. And then there was a lot of tornadoes as well with this system as it moved up the east coast and created passive damage. These were some decent sized tornadoes as well compared to what's normal across the eastern portion of the country from the Carolinas up into Virginia and Maryland. Definitely got the heavy rain and the winds, the true tropical issues with flooding inland, flooding also across portions of the shoreline. But those were several tornadoes that touched down, and unfortunately a lot of fatalities caused as well, over a dozen at least confirmed. Look at that flooding though, that's significant too, and that was kind of it wasn't where there was this major hurricane super widespread. It's just such a populated area, so if you put 60, 70, 80 mile per hour winds through the spots there, you're going to get results, unfortunately. Heavy rain, a torrential downpours that started to weaken and lose some tropical characteristics, heading well off into the northeast pretty fast. But here on the eastern side, that is where all of these tropical storm force winds were recorded, and certainly some impressive gusts into the New York City metro and beyond. And then it really lost its steam once it went up and through New England and into Canada. Another cool little event as we take a look at more in the way of some cool past weather footage in today's video. This is a water spout. This is over Lake Erie, just a little bit to the northeast of the Cleveland area. Winds really whipping around. This moved inland and just created some very, very brief minor damage on shore. That is due to the relatively cold air moving over the very warm lakes here in August, creating those water spouts. There were several of them. So we'll get some activity here today across the east. Also some severe chances across the Front Range into the plains before that weakens. This is with a frontal boundary, so some super soakers there. Back into Florida, your usual afternoon thunderstorm convection over the next couple days. Otherwise, generally quiet. We're not going to have a ton going on. Pretty uneventful and very quiet across much of the west, as it looks like right now over the next few days going through the end of the week. So we still got the chill across the Midwest, Great Lakes into the Northeast, but notice the big heat will die down slightly and you're going to have more heat spread eastward. It'll get pretty hot across the plains again, and you'll really moderate across the lakes in Ohio Valley into the Northeast, where temperatures will return into the middle and eventually upper 80s going through portions of the weekend into early next week. So back to a pretty hot pattern like we saw in July, just not quite as hot. What about systems moving through? Well, we're not going to have a ton in the way of above average precip anomalies, but I think there's going to be a couple corridors here where you see the more persistent precipitation, heavy rainfall, thunderstorm activity there. Otherwise, it's going to be pretty hit and miss across portions of the Mississippi River Valley in towards the deep south. Not a ton going on, especially back across portions of the west, as it looks like once we get through the weekend and into the middle portions of next week as well. So generally pretty hit and miss, not a extremely active pattern, but we do get the heat back. Thanks for watching, and remember, for accurate weather information that's specific for your location and your operation, way better than weather apps and TV weather, trust in NeoWeather.